And there's plenty of chatter on campuses about big changes the province is making to the post-secondary system. The end of a 7-year tuition freeze is being welcomed by administrators, but not by students, who are also going to have to grapple with changes to loans that will leave many taking on more debt. CTV's Jeff Pickel following this story for us tonight. Jeff, safe to say the consensus here is quite a double whammy for students.
Well, Tony, the University of Waterloo Students Association president calling the OSAP change a poison pill and say it will dramatically impact lower income students who more often rely on OSAP funding. They say they are happy to see institutions receive more, but say it shouldn't come on the backs of students. The campuses are quiet on Reading Week, but the Student Association at the University of Waterloo making some noise.
I don't think I've seen anger like this coming from students in a very long time.
They say the provincial changes in OSAP funding will make school less accessible and leave students with higher debt post-graduation.
I've heard students talking about how they're not sure if they can continue their degrees because these changes to OSAP would mean that they'd be left with such a large financial burden that they wouldn't know what to do.
Under the old system, a student on OSAP could receive 85% of funding through grants and the other 15% on loan from the government. Now the system reduces that grant from 85% down to 25%.
It feels like the message that they've received from the province is that if you are not well off enough to pay for OSAP and for tuition yourself, then you don't deserve to come to university.
Down the road at Wilfrid Laurier University, they say this will be felt most by students from low-income homes.
The change does make it a little bit more difficult and a little bit more inaccessible for those income students, lower and middle income students, to access post-secondary education.
For the universities, the announcement comes with some good news after posting multi-million-dollar losses for the last several years.
We are very grateful to the Government of Ontario for the changes that they announced last week. It represents a significant change to the financial sustainability future for the university.
The province ending a 7-year freeze on tuition rates. They will now be able to increase tuition by 2% over the next 3 years.
We're on a path to making changes to become much more financially sustainable in future, and the investment from government and increasing tuition helps us do that.
While many details on the changes remain uncertain, it's the start of a more stable financial future for colleges and universities. So it was a quiet week on campus because it's Reading Week, but the UW Students Union say based on the amount of concern and anger they've heard, they are ready to make some noise, and noise that they hope gets all the way to Queen's Park. Tony?
All right, Jeff, thank you. CTV's Jeff Pickel reporting.